Okay, this is Jason Roggasch, and we are checking out what's left of the Salton Sea. This is a bridge clearly built for something wonderful at one point, who knows, but we're not going to take that bridge because it's wooden and I don't want it to break under our feet. Take a quick pan. There's people that live here. We're not going to spend a lot of time out here because frankly I can feel my throat and my head starting to really be affected by the toxins. Of course, if you read our blog about the Salton Sea, this was once a dream in the middle of the desert. Now it's a environmental nightmare. There is nothing here, honestly, but horror, in my opinion. It's a place where nothing, you can even see the tracks on the road here as we're going. People don't even really come out here to dune buggy. This is a really popular area to dune buggy, but there is not a lot. People don't mess around. Now you see some birds over in the distance. There's a certain type of bird that migrates out here. I'll have more information about that on the blog in future video. Probably post a couple videos about this place. As you see, a lot of this white on the ground here, this isn't actually sand. This is dead birds and dead fish bones. The Salton Sea was a human massive tragedy. Human beings who are so-called engineers dammed up the Colorado River. These are bones. I'm literally walking on dead bird and animal bones. You can see the bones. I would pick some of them up, but I don't want anything from this place anywhere near me or to collect any of it. There's wildlife out here, but very little. Assuming snakes and things. This is an unbelievable fucking place. Like I'm stunned people live this close. Here we are, we're about halfway, and there's people right over there. You can see green palm trees, people pump water in. It's mostly older people that live here. It's called, we're kind of near some place called Desert. I can't remember the name right off the bat. Desert Sands or something. And these are dead bones of animals, of birds and fish. You can see their bones, you can feel it. And the smell is rotten eggs and just the worst smell that I've ever I mean, it's not overly pungent because there's a little bit of a breeze, it's blowing it around, but it's still pretty gross. And you look at, I mean, this is, I can't even, this is glycophosphate and fertilizers and probably DDT and every other fucking horrible thing, because the environmental damage that was done to this place by human beings, damming up the Colorado River to create irrigation for major farming. And the engineers didn't understand the soil that they were dealing with. And they had and when the flash floods came, because this place gets flash floods all the time, it essentially caused all of the fertilizer from all of these farms to deposit into this lake. This lake shouldn't even be here. It's actually runoff from Colorado and amongst other things, rain, etc. And when it happened, the flash floods happened, you don't even see tire tracks out here. Nobody comes out here. And as you get closer to this, I'm literally walking in piles of bones. This is shocking. Originally, this place was going to be set up for an oasis in the middle of the desert, as I said earlier. This was going to be people like Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra, and they were going to come out here and perform even earlier than that. And they were going, this was going to be kind of a, because this way, as I'm pointing the camera, you have Palm Springs. And of course, Palm Springs was famous for, I don't even know if I can get much closer than I am right now. to be honest with you, I don't know if I can get, anyway, going back to Palm Springs was kind of this community in the desert, and it's taken a lot of, oh my God. I mean, I'm seeing things on the ground here I can't even describe. There's no footprints, there's no animal prints, just bones of dead fish and dead fucking birds. I'm rarely, as anybody that's ever viewed anything that I've done, speechless. I am fucking, excuse my language, I am fucking speechless. And you contrast that with the beauty of the mountains over this area, and you contrast it with all of this stuff that you see, and it is, I'm gonna try to keep going as close as I can, but quite honestly, I am uncomfortable as fuck being out here. The ground shifts below you. There is no footprints, there are no motorcycle tracks, there are no dune buggy tracks, there are no ATV tracks, and there are birds over here. And there are certain birds that have gotten adapted to it, obviously, and live here, but this is just full of fertilizer. You see no boats, you see nobody, people that live over here, you're just stunned that people would actually risk their lives to live even near this place. It is absolutely horrifying. I've always been curious about the Salton Sea. I've read about it, I've seen documentaries, and I'll go into more detail when I do a little bit of a wrap up at the end of the video, probably film myself talking a little more in detail about it, and I'll leave links below to some of the information that I found. But as we get closer, this is horrifying. This is horrifying. Like, I now know what true horror is. I'm not going to get any closer. I'm not going to fall in. I'm not going to get sucked into some, as you see below me, the earth just, it's still wet underneath it. And it's not, nobody walks out here. Nobody comes out here. And yet, as we pan over, you see the houses again. I mean, we're not that far. This is terrifying to me. This is what human beings do. This is what we do. This is what we do best. We destroy things. We fuck shit up. These are bones. I'll get a little closer. These are all bones of birds and fish. You can see them, the hollow in them. This is probably as close as I can honestly get without sinking into this place, because I'm not risking it. My nose right now is burning. My throat's burning. I have a headache that I've never experienced before. It's like being hungover, but 10 times worse. You see the birds? I mean, I can see something in the water out there. I don't know if it's a snake or a fish or what it is. I am speechless. And it just goes on forever. It's something like 35 miles wide, 15 miles long. And they take the water out of here and they cycle it out and still use it for irrigation in some of the local areas. You can see newly dead animals right there. Fish, birds. It's this is pretty fucking terrible. Oh, the sadness, because it's such a beautiful area. The desert is right behind me. And over here, as you see, that's the desert over there. And it's beautiful. The desert is beautiful.